Hey everyone, welcome back and happy Friday. Happy Friday, but not such great news. I just wanted to be honest with you because we've been talking about it. But Teddi Mellencamp had more news that came out. Of course, I did want to bring up some of the Jax Taylor stuff because now we have more audio clips coming from him, and then Tom Sandoval as well. So we have lots to talk about, lots to discuss. It sounds weird because it's like you want to come on and you want to be like, hey, and high energy. And like normally that's exactly me. But in this situation, when you're talking about something so morbid, you're like, how do you come off in this situation? But we're gonna jump right in, smash the like button, show some love, and let's start. You know what? Let's start with this Teddi situation. So Teddi Mellencamp, she did give an update on her Instagram page. This was just yesterday, confirming that the doctors found more tumors on her brain and on her lungs following a recent CAT scan. I don't know if you guys know the whole story or if you've been paying attention to it. It's actually really it's depressing and it's sad and it breaks your heart. But she was having really bad headaches, right? So she was recording Two Teas in a Pod. She was going into the studio. She was doing what she does with Tamra, and she just kept getting these really bad migraines. And I think this is why it's important to listen to yourself. I had a friend who passed away from not going to the doctor over headaches. But she ended up going to the doctor and they found that she had 4 of these tumors on her brain. And then as they were going through the procedures to remove the tumors, they had to do CAT scans and they found more. Now, she did tease her possible return. Well, she'll be returning for sure with Tamra Judge, but she also said that despite her ongoing health battle, she was feeling positive and she was prepared to undergo radiation and immunotherapy. But she gave an update, and her words exactly were, update from my scans today. I have multiple tumors in my brain that weren't able to be removed via surgery. I also have 2 tumors in my lung. These are all metastasis of my melanoma. The doctors are hopeful that immunotherapy will effectively treat them. She said, I'm feeling positive that I will win this battle, that I got this wig. I like the short hair, just not the bald spots. And then I can't remember all of Angelina's kids' names. Now, as Andy Cohen would say, with all due, Goff, cancer. Yeah. She then shared a similar message with her fans and followers on Instagram, and it said pretty much the same thing. But people were, of course, commenting on this. Julia Lemagova said, sending love. Tamra Judge said, you're going to kick cancer's ass. You are the strongest person I know. Cancer all the way off. Tariq Kemsley said, you got this, Teddi. I mean, it just keeps going. Kyle Richards said the best moment right after your surgery was when you weren't quite sure what year it was. And I said, but I bet she can name all of Angelina Jolie's kids' names. And she did. But yeah, I'm gonna leave this one be. This is sad. She did say, as far as like 2 T's in a pod, she said, I'm seeing all of your messages asking when I'm going back to the pod. And I don't actually know. I would assume next week, but I'm listening to what the doctors and bosses think is best for my brain. And I think when you have 4 brain tumors and then you have to go through all these different things and you have to protect yourself. But of course, I miss the podcast. I miss chatting with Tam and I miss Erica and I miss laughing and I miss watching all of those ridiculous shows. So I will be back. I just have to listen to my body and see when the time is right. Well, all right. Moving on. Something that somebody can control what they're doing to their brain would be Jax Taylor. Because I don't know if you guys know, but when you do a bunch of pasta, it puts holes in your brain. I feel like that's a true fact. But here we go.
And we'll start with the cocaine stuff. What were you thinking when this interview came out with Jax? He said that he had been on cocaine and had some substance abuse issues. He says, I think audience probably saw it.
Yes. I mean, there were things that were caught. I think at their wedding, there was a plate of Coke that was just like on the table in his hotel room. There are things that I saw.
That is real. That's like a meme that has gone around.
I mean, it was never like production supplying it or okay with it. I think they didn't notice. That would have never made it to air. But I mean, it has to go through, editing and so many people. But I just don't think anyone was looking at the little plate on the table. But yeah, I mean.
So cast knew.
Yes, everyone knew Jax did cocaine. That was not a secret.
Did production know?
I feel like he definitely came out of the bathroom with white stuff on his nose every here and there, but they would have never supported, or anything like that.
We have a lot to get into. We'll start with the cocaine stuff. What were you thinking?
I mean, that's okay.
To come out and kind of talk about the struggles that I've been going through for a very, very long time. And I kind of wanted everyone to know, you know, this is what happened. I'm kind of coming, this is tough to say. So I am coming out that I'm an addict. I have substance issues, primarily with cocaine. Ooh, that's hard to say out loud. Yeah, I've been dealing with this for, I think, the last, on and off since I was 23. So I'm 45. So give or take, I've been, you know, there's times where I would stop doing it, but then there was times where I'd go heavy on it. I think a lot of people who watched the Vanderpump Rules over the years could kind of tell that I was on something. You know, obviously production and people, they didn't know what I was doing. Everything I was doing was on my own, but I was just, you know, on that train and I couldn't get off. And then people ask, you know, do you have an alcohol problem too? I don't necessarily think I have an alcohol problem, but the two go hand in hand. So I can't do cocaine without drinking. So I just gave up.
You know what though, too, the job of production, it is kind of crazy because I think that production walks a fine line. You know, I think that the cast will support production because they want to be the number one. They don't want to get bad edits, and production will support the cast. Like, I was around a production crew who was like, come on, Adam, let's go out here and let's go to this music festival and do these drugs and get fucked up. And it was like, what? They're like, if you want to be on TV, this is what we're going to do. So I have seen quite the opposite probably than this, but I will say when it comes to Jax Taylor, they knew, people are not stupid. They knew he was on this. They knew he had this addiction issue. They've seen it. They've seen him. You can see his eyes. You can see his pupils. You can see everything, and they can read it on camera. I'm not buying. I just agree with Sheena, not disagree, but just agree with Sheena that I think that if anything, it's just like he's an adult and they weren't supplying him with it. But Tom Sandoval also appeared this week on Watch What Happens Live, where he gave an update on the sale of his house with Ariana. I don't know if you guys remember, it was back in October of 2024, where he did a podcast with his girlfriend, Victoria Lee Robinson, talking about how his house was hitting the market. He's still in the house. October, November, December, January, February, March. That's 6 months later. What are we doing? While also sharing the last time he spoke to Rachel, he reacted to Jax Taylor's addiction. And there's more. But he said, we have not sold the house. It's been a lot of work, and I've been doing a lot of the heavy lifting. It's just the way it's just been. It takes a while. I don't know if I believe that. What would take a while in this situation? Although Sandoval seemed to move into a new home with his girlfriend, Victoria, who he's been dating for the past year, he said that he's still currently residing in his previously shared home with Ariana. And he also said that they only speak through her entertainment lawyer. This isn't not like, for him, I think that there's something that he doesn't want to let go of with the house, but the house is a brand new house. The house has custom furniture. The house has been completely done to the nine. There's not really a real reason why the house should not be ready to hit the market. I don't know. Jason and I are so, I guess, different. And we at one point got news that, you know, like things were happening with the building that we lived in. And people were voting for certain things, and HOAs suck if you guys don't know. But we literally made that decision that day. We called our friend who was a realtor, and she sold it that night. The house was sold in less than 24 hours, the condo. But I think if you want to sell something, then you just you do it. Ariana doesn't want anything to do with that house. She bought a $1.6 million house. It sat right there perfectly and pretty in the Hollywood Hills. She does not go back to the other house. All of her stuff is out of the other house. I'm surprised that she is not trying to fight to expedite the sale of this home, because every month that the house is not sold, you still are responsible for that mortgage, which means she's still splitting a massive mortgage with him. You know, as for his communication with Rachel, though, who's still currently suing both him and Ariana, he said he can't even remember the last time that he and her spoke, that they spoke maybe like 2 years ago. I mean, okay. I want to hear what you guys think, though, especially about this whole sale of the home. Something's weird. Something's off about that. Unless you're trying to catch up on finances. I don't understand why the house would not. Why would it? Because you have to think, too, the house was being prepped. It's not just it's been 6 months. I understand sometimes things take a long time to sell. But it's also that it's been 6 months since he said he was moving in with his girlfriend. And it's been 2 years since Sandoval happened. $15,000 a month. Let's just go over the mortgage really quick. Let's call it, yeah, with taxes and everything, land taxes, definitely. Let's say 13,000. We'll go down a little bit. Times 24 months, 2 years. That is $312,000 going into that mortgage. Most of that, too, by the way, does not go to the principal. Most of that is the interest. I want to hear what you guys think. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and we'll see you next time. Love you guys.